What's going on, YouTube? So I finally completed my 40,000 miles, and I completed my upgrade, and I'm pretty much like on a truck by myself now. So I pretty much just wanted to do a video and pretty much just speak about like how my TNT training experience was. Maybe give you guys a few tips and tricks on, what I'm saying, TNT training, and pretty much like speak a little bit about the upgrade process in case you are interested in becoming a driver for Prime Inc. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, let's start off here. So basically, like, I I, I wanted to throw this clip in because like we had this one load in New York, and like, first of all, the traffic is crazy. Aside from that, we had to basically pull into like this super duper tight little alleyway or whatever. And for anybody out there who plans on trucking, I just wanted to show you guys this because if you're a company driver and they want to send you a whole bunch of New York loads, you're gonna have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't have like too much experience or whatever, and I know this sounds crazy, but like, so I drank the Kool-Aid. All right, I drank the Kool-Aid, and I pretty much signed the lease. And one of the reasons why I signed the lease was to avoid having to repeatedly get myself into these type of situations. Now, you guys can only see the portion where we enter the dock, but entering the dock is only half like the battle. You also have to deal with a bunch of crazy people not having patience and waiting for you to set yourself up, and you know what I'm saying, turn into that dock. Like, they're just they it's almost as if they don't care if you're trying to turn into that alleyway. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this was one of our loads, one of our New York loads. As you guys may know, like, my trainer was he was like a regional trucker. So like, we pretty much went to all of the same spots. We pretty much would go from New York to Towanda, PA. From Towanda, PA, we would go to somewhere in North Carolina or South Carolina. It depends. We would go to the Charlotte Pipe in North Carolina. Then we would head towards where do we be going after Charlotte Pipe? We would go after that. We go back to New York. So it was basically New York, PA, South Carolina, or North Carolina, and then back to New York, and then repeat. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the most unpleasant part of my TNT training was having to basically like do the same route for freaking 2.5 months straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really enjoy just waking up and doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Like, for me, it low-key kind of felt like, you know how like when you got a regular job and you wake up and you go clock in and you see the same people and it's the same routine? That's pretty much how I felt about my trainer's route. Now, don't get me wrong. Having a regional route that you're used to is great, especially if you're a trainer, because now it's like it's a money cheat code, in my opinion. But me personally, my least favorite part about my TNT training was just the fact that my trainer was regional, and we pretty much just, I knew what to expect like before it happened. You know what I'm saying? This was one of the loads getting put on the trailer in Towanda. So after we leave New York, we would head to Towanda. Yeah, I could only imagine having to tarp this in an area where Oh wait, did we need to tarp this? I'm not sure if we needed to tarp this. Also, you see that little 2x4 that he's holding? I delivered a load to whatchamacallit, to Home Depot today, and they had a bunch of those like in the lot and whatnot. And I definitely took one with me, cause like you definitely need one of those for when you're like putting belly straps on your loads and stuff like that. I didn't really get a chance to go buy Fletcher from Flatbed Boot Camp. He suggested that you get yourself like a plastic pipe or something like that. But me personally, I didn't really get a chance to do that. But I just followed in my trainer's footsteps, and I just grabbed me like a little 2x4 or whatever. So I was super happy because I got my hands on one of those today. But yeah, so my least favorite part of flatbed training was the fact that my trainer was regional and we did all of the same routes over and over and over and over again. And I feel like another downside to having a trainer that does mainly regional routes, that typically means you're gonna see the same loads over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you're a trainee, it's best if you get a little bit of variety of different loads. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can get chain loads, at least like maybe like freaking like 8 to 9 chain loads, I think that's good. That would be good because like now you can get used to securing heavier loads. Cause like strapping a load, that's like pretty, in my opinion, that's not really the most difficult thing in the world. So like, basically what I'm trying to say is I wish we got more loads where we needed to use chains. But it is what it is though. Whenever I do come across a load that I have to chain, I'm just gonna FaceTime Fletcher, and you guys gonna get to meet Fletcher later on once we get to like the upgrade portion of this video and whatnot. So yeah, aside from the regional route, what else would I say that I was not necessarily a big fan of when it came down to TNT? I mean, I hate to say it, but I low-key kind of feel like my trainer made me do most of like the long distance driving, which there's nothing wrong with, because like ultimately that's making me I think the word that some people call it, like it's giving me more stamina, you know what I'm saying? And once you upgrade into your own truck, you definitely want to have stamina, and you want to be able to drive long distances and long periods of time, because like that's gonna help you make more money, you know what I'm saying, whether you're lease or company, you feel what I'm saying? So even though it did benefit me in the future, at the time when I was like actually on the truck with my trainer, I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't necessarily like a big fan of it, because like I always kind of just like in the back of my mind I would look over at him and I'd be like, dude, like why don't you just drive half the miles and I drive half the miles, like, you know what I'm saying? I think my trainer was a great guy, like he's super nice. He's super informative, but I also kind of had felt like he knows how to use the clock really well, and it's almost like he would set his clock up in a way where the 14-hour clock would catch up with the 11-hour clock, and at that point it doesn't matter if he goes on off duty or not, like his clock is gonna keep running down due to the fact that like his 14 caught up with his 11. So like you're gonna understand once you become a trainee what I mean by that, you know what I'm saying? Aside from that, anything else that I didn't like? I can't really think of much else, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I just felt like I did most of the, like, the long distance driving. My trainer definitely, I'm not saying my trainer didn't drive or anything like that. It's just that, like, his routes would be like drive 2 hours, stop, get off the truck, maybe load or maybe unload, then drive another like 3 hours, stop, fuel up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he would drive, but like his routes would allow him to like rest his legs for like a good 20-30 minutes and things like that. Whereas like when I was driving, it was kind of on some like drive 5 hours, fuel up, drive another 5 hours. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was like another thing I didn't really like, even though that was something that was helping me in the long run and something that was making me a better driver. So another piece of advice I would give you guys is while you are in TNT training, right, I advise you guys to get like a pilot card, a pilot reward card, and I advise you guys to get like a Love's reward card. And anytime you and your trainer are fueling up, you want to use your rewards card so you can get points. That way, once you upgrade, you can get free showers. Trust me and believe me. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, like, don't be like me. You feel me? Don't be having to pay $17 for every time you go get a shower. You know what I'm saying? So while you're on the truck with your trainer, use your pilot's card. Use your Love's card. Get yourself some points so you can get some free showers. My trainer, he used his pilot card, so I'm not even sure if Love's works the same way. But his pilot Flying J card, whenever we used to go grab showers, we would just scan his barcode or whatever, and it would be free. You feel what I'm saying? So every time you're fueling up, use your reward card so you can get some points, so you can save yourself $17 every time you get a shower. Like, I want you guys to like if you learn anything from watching this video, that should be like the number one thing that you learn. Please, you're gonna thank me later. So this right here is just like this load was not our ordinary load. Like, we typically did not get these kind of loads, you know what I'm saying? But I was glad that we did, because I was able to work with the chains a little bit. And I'm really glad that I recorded these videos, because I could always go back and watch how he did it, so I could do it myself if I ever come across loads such as these. Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, even though I was standing there watching and this and that, I don't fully remember exactly what he did. So I'm really glad that I recorded it, because I could go back and watch. So one of the questions that I used to get, well, not used to, but one of the questions that I got a lot from people who commented on my previous videos is, what do we get paid during TNT? And I think somebody asked, what do we get paid during the flatbed training? And so pretty much like the TNT training, they tell you that you made $900 a week. Now, you do make $900 a week, but that's typically like the median or like the average amount of money that you are going to make per week. But you guys gotta remember, like, that this 900 is before tax. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're like trying to think ahead and you're trying to do the math on how much money you're gonna have after TNT training, take into account that, like, they're gonna take taxes off of that 900. You feel me? So really, you're actually gonna be making like a calm little, probably like $740 a week. You know what I'm saying? But there are some weeks where you guys run extra miles, and you make a little bit more money those weeks. Because there were some weeks where I made 900 like after. But there was like 1 or 2 weeks where I only made like 650. So it was like $100 short. So, so it really varies depending on what kind of loads you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much miles did you guys have to tarp? So all of these things come into play, and for the most part, you should be getting on average 900 before taxes. So I just wanted to say that because like a lot of people have brought that up. So this is where we pretty much went to drop this load off. This was like the second to last load or something like that, or it was like the third to last load. And it was pretty cool because we delivered it to some church, and I noticed that there was like a lot of like cows in the backyard and stuff like that. And as you guys know, like I love wildlife photography. I love animals, and like I really like nature and stuff like that. So while they were unloading us and stuff, I was just a little bit stressed out from freaking doing all that driving and being stuck in the train. I mean, being stuck on the truck with my trainer. So I grabbed the camera and I was like, let me go record some videos of these cows and stuff like that. I took a few photos as well, but I'm not gonna really post those. And I kind of was walking around or whatever, and they had like a couple chickens in the back, and you know, just like farm stuff. I had a lot of fun this day because I finally got to use my camera for something other than recording like trucking stuff. Because originally that's why I purchased the camera, you know what I'm saying? Like my camera, like I didn't get it so I can just record like shit that has to do with trucks. Like I got it because I wanted to like record nature and all of these like cool things. And towards like later on in the video, you guys are gonna see a lot more videos, or you guys are gonna see a lot more clips like that one. So I guess that's pretty much it for TNT. Wait, no it's not. This is still at the farm. I'm bugging. Okay, so like while this is happening, I want to give you guys a little context on how I do my videos. I just record a whole bunch of clips, and then when I get on the computer, I just put all the clips together like in order, and then afterwards I basically get on my phone, and while I am watching these clips play, I just do like a little voiceover and just talk about whatever it is that's going on in the clips and shit like that. So if you're wondering how I do my videos, like that's how I do it. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah. So this right here was, I believe this was the last load, and we did not get this load until about 40,500 miles. So like even though I had hit 40,000, we still had like 2 more loads. You feel what I'm saying? And so this was pretty much like the last load, and we basically had to bring it to the Springfield, Missouri terminal. I'm not gonna lie, out of all the loads that we had to pick up and drop off, this one was my absolute favorite. Like I kid you not. Like I was looking at my trainer like, yo, I finally don't gotta see you again. Like I'm not even saying that like in a rude way or anything like that, but it's just like I was just so happy to like not have to wake up in the same truck with another human being. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't wait. So this load right here, I was loving this shit out with this load, man. Like I was like, my trainer could have told me to drive 900 miles. I would not complain. I would drive all 900 of them shits. Like, you feel me? So that actually That truck right there kind of looks like my truck, like that purple one. But yeah, so I was super happy for this load. And another thing I liked about this load is this was not one of his regular loads. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he usually picks up like Charlotte pipe loads. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has like a regional Charlotte pipe route. So I was super happy that we did not have to pick up some shit from Charlotte pipe. And I was super happy that we did not have to bring this shit to New York and then drive to Towanda and then drive to South Carolina or North Carolina and then back to New York. Like, I was super happy we did not have to do that we didn't have to do that shit again. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So right here, he's pretty much just setting up this little tarping station ladder stuff, which is very handy. You know what I'm saying? I wish every shipper had one of these. Like, I get tired of having to fucking climb on top of the road and do all of this extra. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wish every shipper had one of these. But yeah, you definitely want to take a lot of notes from your trainer and how they got their stuff set up, because once you upgrade and you're like Flatbed, you're gonna have to they're gonna have to set up your tarps on the truck. You're gonna get to see some of that later on. I got a couple of clips of that during the upgrade part of the video. And now that I have to do the audio portion of the video and like do a voiceover, I low-key wish that I did not make this video so long. But I only really made this video so long because I haven't posted in like, what, 2 months? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, since I ain't posting 2 months, like, I wanted to bring a decent amount of clips and a decent amount of videos for you. So you definitely want to pay attention to like how he has his tarps. Well, not really necessarily how he has his tarps, but whoever's training you, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a Flatbed, you want to pay close attention to like how they have their truck set up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to set your own truck up in the future. So you definitely want to remember how they had it. Because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna just continue whatever routine that your trainer gave you. So yeah, this is one of the loads where it's an aluminum load, if I'm not mistaken. So we got to use this little plastic thingy, and you also get like a roll of this plastic thingy when you're upgrading. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I hate the roll of plastic, because it's like I pretty much had to put it inside the sleeper berth, and like, yeah, I wasn't really too thrilled about it. It's mad, no homo, it's mad big, like it's mad long, pause, and it's like it just takes up mad space in the sleeper berth. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not really a big fan of this whole little plastic shit. I gotta figure out somewhere else I can stash that shit, because like that shit took up my whole closet. I'm never gonna hold you, like, because I definitely didn't want to set it up like near the bed or anything like that. Like, so I had to put it in the closet. Luckily, like, I don't have like a whole bunch of clothes and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, he's just basically he's loading up the plastic and stuff like that. And one thing I will say is, to me, the most difficult part about being on your own, or at least for me, is the tarping. And it's not that the tarping is hard, but my first 4 loads, right now I'm kind of just parked up on my 30, well, not even my 34 hours, but I'm on my 10-hour break, basically waiting to pick up my 5th load. But like my first 4 loads, well, my first load was chill. Like, tarping it wasn't really that big of an issue, but the next 3, oh man, tarping was hell. Like, my second load, it was windy as hell that day. You guys are gonna get to see that clip later on too. It was windy as hell, and guess which tarp I had to use? I had to use the blue tarp. And me personally, I've never on my own put a blue tarp onto a load. Like I've literally only seen my trainer use the blue tarp maybe like three or four times, and every single time we had to use those tarps, I magically would wander off, and you know what I'm saying, like, and I would just let him do that shit because I just always looked at it like, oh yeah, you're better at this, so you should do it. And yeah, so when I had to do that shit on my own, that shit was not fun. And then on my second load, it was windy as hell, y'all. Like it was mad windy, and pretty much like the wind blew the tarp off of the freaking. You're gonna get to see. It blew the tarp off of the load, and I was just like, damn. And I had to basically think outside the box and figure out like how the heck I'm gonna get the tarp back onto the load without having to re-roll it and carry it and reopen it and all that type of stuff. And you guys are gonna get to see that later on in the video as well. So now that he basically put the plastic, he put everything on top of the load. Now he is pretty much like moving the, you know, little whatever you want to call it, ladder thing.
Okay.
I get like brain farts when I gotta like record like these things.
Off and let this thing drop, and this part right here won't come back.
So yeah, man, like I was super excited. Like I was like, yeah, our last load, and we finally headed back to the terminal, and I can see what else lies in the future. But even though I was like super excited, I was also super nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole new process. I felt the same way I felt during orientation. Like it was like, damn, I don't know what to expect. You know, like when you graduate junior high and now you're going to high school and you're like nervous and shit. Or you don't even got to be changing schools. It could be like you're going from fucking 9th grade to 10th grade and it's like first day of school. That's kind of like how I felt. But right here, this is like this is pretty much like the Plaza building at the Springfield, Missouri terminal. This is pretty much where this is the place you would go for like getting your trip sheets and stuff like that. Which class was that? The LLC class was in that building. This building right here is the Millennium building. This class right here is the safety class, but this safety class is at the Campus Inn, which is the hotel. So I know that was mad confusing. I was mad confused too. So a lot of your classes are at the hotel. You feel what I'm saying? So like, don't wake up 30 minutes before your class and run to the shuttle bus and take it to like the Millennium or the Plaza, assuming that like your class is in the Millennium or the Plaza. That's definitely what I did. And yeah, just to find out that like, oh no, your class is actually downstairs at the hotel. So that's just another piece of advice for you guys. If you guys are upgrading and you happen to go to Springfield, Missouri terminal, most of your classes are going to be at the campus in location. You feel what I'm saying? So you don't even really got to get on the shuttle bus to go to class. You literally just get in the shower, get ready, head downstairs, and it's in that same exact building. But this gentleman right here, he's Fletcher. He is the flatbed boot camp guy, and he is the guy who you call whenever you need help with anything flatbed. You know what I'm saying? He's super awesome. He's super cool. He's hilarious. He was making us laugh. He's super chill. He reminds me of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And yeah, he was super chill. This was the only class that I really recorded because like if I forgot to bring my camera to some of the other classes, then it's like some of the instructors were like women, so I didn't really feel too comfortable like taking the camera and just recording these women and things like that. I just felt like it's just awkward, you know what I'm saying? Like, but Fletcher's a really cool guy, so like I felt comfortable recording his class or whatever. But in this class, you pretty much learn a lot. You learn about like scales. You learn about like different kinds of loads and what determines how you secure them. For example, if the load is primarily geared towards length, then you would use straps. But it's primarily geared towards weight, then you would use like chains. For example, suicide coils, you would use chains. Like shit like fucking like drywall, stuff like that. You would use straps. You feel what I'm saying? So they teach you a whole bunch of that in this class. They teach you about like securing the load. They teach you about like axles. Which states require you to have your axle spread. Which state requires you to have them open. Yeah, you learn about things like, you know, it's best to put the heavier things in the center of your trailer, and then you want to evenly distribute it outwards, meaning on both sides, and you want to possibly keep the lighter things in the front and the heavier things in the back, because the back allows you to put like 20,000 pounds on each axle and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you learn a whole bunch of those things in this class. Yeah. And besides that, we have like a LLC type of class thing where like they tell you about like a little bit of the tax aspects of being a lease operator. Well, not just being is it a lease thing? I'm not sure if that class is like a lease class. Yeah, I think that's like the lease tax class. You know what I'm saying? Then I feel like there's another tax class where it's more so geared towards understanding your profit versus like your net. You know what I'm saying? So they teach you like, oh yeah, so you spent this much on gas, you spent that amount on this, and you spent that amount on this, and this is how much you take home. So there's another like tax type of class that speaks more so on things like that. Then you have like another class, I think it's called like pro grade or pro maintenance or something like that, where you pretty much learn how to save yourself time and money by having like a jumper cable in your truck, having a plier, or having a little tool kit. So they pretty much teach you how like you can save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money just by having a couple tools on your truck and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like, for example, like let's say your mud flap falls off or some shit like that. As long as you got the tools, you can literally go back there and you can put it back on. You feel what I'm saying? As opposed to like having to well, I don't fully recall if like you would call roadside for a mud flap, but as opposed to having to go to like a truck stop and paying them to put the mud flap back on for you, which would be a waste of money when you could have just grabbed the screwdriver and put that John on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what that pro maintenance class was about. I'm trying to think about like what other classes there was. Like that safety class that I showed you guys earlier. That class was basically like a class where like they teach you basic safety things and you know, being cautious when being behind the wheel, like paying attention to people who are drifting left and right between the lane because they might possibly be distracted and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what that first class was about. Then you also have like I forgot what they're called, but there are these videos that you have to watch online, and you watch them, and then they quiz you about the videos afterwards. And yeah, I got mine done pretty quick, to be honest with you. Like I got mine done within like 2 to 3 hours, but I know how to finesse. Like I know how to finesse and not really have to watch those videos and still like pass the little quizzes and shit. So that's pretty much what I did. Like I sped ran through them shits. After that, you also have like a Qualcomm class that you got to take as well. And in the Qualcomm class, they pretty much, this lady basically teaches you about like she pretty much like teaches you about how the Qualcomm works, how to manage your time, how to you know what I'm saying, like pretty much everything related to like your time and your, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. Like when it's time for me to do these videos, I swear to God, like I be having mad brain farts, and like I'm not really that like descriptive and things like that. But yeah, it basically teaches you everything you need to know about your Qualcomm, like, you know what I'm saying, yard movement, what's that shit called again? There's this thing where like you can drive the truck without actually running your, I forgot what it's called, but there's this little thing you could do where you could still drive the truck without like affecting your drive clock or like your cycle and stuff like that. You feel me? It's like leisure time or some shit like that. I forgot what it's called, but besides Qualcomm class, I think they might have like a little class for how to basically pick a truck and stuff like that. So like it pretty much tells you about like success leasing, and how you go on the website, and you pick your division, and then you scroll through it, and you'll see the different trucks available for your division and at the terminal, which is the Springfield, Missouri terminal, but you might be at a different terminal. So I think it's like the successleasing.org or something like that, where you could basically just go on there and see all the different trucks. So there's like a whole little class like that about that kind of stuff. Pretty much, yeah, once you complete all of these classes, I don't know what company drivers do,
if it rolls
but
over, you're done.
You pretty much will get a call from, LLC. So when you go take that one class that speaks about the LLC and stuff like that, you sign some paperwork, you pick the name of your LLC, and you give them 3 options just in case the first one doesn't work. Then they can try the second one. If that doesn't work, they try the third one. But yeah. So once you take that class and you fill out that little LLC paperwork and all that, like, you should have your LLC up and running within like 2 days, the most. Unless like you just pick names that are all used up already or something like that. But I went with Get Rich Quick Transportation. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got GRQ on my like channel art and stuff like that. It stands for Get Rich Quick. It was just something I used to think about, like when before I became a truck driver. I was like, yo, if I have like a trucking company, I'm calling it GRQ. You feel me? For Get Rich Quick. But yeah. what
I want
else?
the extra one, the odd number, to the back of the trailer, away from my head.
So yeah,
So it's 3, 5, or 7.
then they're gonna call you up like, yeah, like, yo, pull up, like, you feel me, like, we got a truck for you and all that, like, come check it out. And then, like, basically, if you want, you can go check it out.
However, if I pull it straight
And
down
if
like
you like
this,
it,
how many
then you
movements
have
am
to
I
basically do like this whole little
One, I'm preventing
uh
up.
you gotta do this thing where like you inspect your truck and you make sure that everything is functioning properly on the truck before you sign the lease.
How many movements?
That takes about like a calm little hour and a half or whatever.
2 movements. I'm preventing backwards,
And
up.
once you do that,
Angle it backwards,
then you
down.
basically go back into the leasing office. Well, you don't necessarily go into the
Backwards and
leasing
down,
office. You
preventing
don't have to
how
go
many
back there.
movements? Slim.
You basically would sign your lease on your phone
If I pull it
because they're gonna send you an email.
and down.
And once you sign that lease, like,
2. Preventing
your
forward and up.
fleet manager is gonna try to get your ass a load. So just be ready for that. Like, the second you sign that lease and you let your fleet manager know, be ready to drive. So if there's anything you want to get for your truck, you want to get all of that shit before you sign your lease. If you want to get a refrigerator, if you want to get a microwave, if you want to get anything you want to get for your truck, get it before you sign your lease, because once you sign your lease, they're gonna send you a load. You feel what I'm saying? There are a couple things I didn't really get a chance to buy yet. I didn't get a chance to get a fridge, and I didn't get a chance to get a microwave. But I did get myself like a little grill. You guys are gonna see some of the stuff that I purchased like later on in the video. So yeah, you definitely want to make sure you take care of. You definitely want to make sure you take care of all of that. Like, you want to make sure you take care of that before you sign your lease. You want to get yourself some toolkits, like, you know, a toolbox or some shit like that. Like, you want to make sure you get yourself, like, what else? A ladder, like Fletcher just showed earlier in the video. Yeah, man, just whatever you think you're gonna need, just get it before you sign your lease. So, like, after my classes and shit like that, I used to get bored. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so, me personally, I went on Google Maps and I was like, yo, what the heck is there to do around here? Like, you feel me? So, like, me personally, I noticed that there was a park. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Parks usually have animals, birds, stuff like that. So once I noticed that there was a park, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to the park and I'm gonna go see if there's anything cool that I can take pictures of. And I went there, and believe it or not, like, one of the first animals that I saw was an owl. And like, taking photos of an owl is like on my top 3. Like, that's on my top 3 list of animals I want to photograph. It's an owl, an eagle, and a bear. Like, those are the 3 animals I want to photograph the most. And yeah, and when I went to the park, I didn't really see too much wildlife, but I saw like I saw a bunch of horses. That was really cool. It's not really considered wildlife, but it was still like animals, like, you know what I'm saying? What else? I saw a couple ducks by the pond. That was cool too. And yeah, that was probably like the most exciting part about going to the park. Like, the horses, the ducks. I can't remember what else I seen. I couldn't get any photos of the owls because, like, I seen 3 owls, but like every time I seen them, they were like flying past. Like, they saw me first, type shit. So I didn't really get any photos of like them. But I did end up going to the zoo, and I had like a whole lot of fun at the zoo. Like, there was a tiger. That was like the #1 animal I wanted to photograph. The tiger was on some, like, he looked like he was hungry, and it looked like somebody was in the cage, like, setting up his dinner or something like that, because he just kept on pacing back and forth, looking at like whatever they had in the back or whatever. So I think they must have been like getting his dinner ready, and he couldn't wait to eat. There were bears, but the bears were in hibernation, so I didn't get any photos of them. There was like an elephant. There were like giraffes. There were like what else? There was like a whole lot of animals: flamingos, parrots, monkeys. So I got to take a whole lot of pictures. You know what I'm saying? And I had a blast. And to top it all off, I walk out like the little reptile area, and there is a red-shouldered hawk on a tree, and it was feasting on another bird. And that was like the best picture I ever took in my life. Like, I kid you not. If you guys want to see my photos, I'm gonna put all the photos, or like all of the good ones, I'm gonna put them at the end of the video. So like, if you like animals and you like photography and you like art and stuff like that, you're gonna get to see. You're gonna get. I'll put all of my best pictures or my favorite ones that I took while going through the upgrade process. I'll put them at the end of the video for anybody who wants to check them out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So once you pick out a truck that you like, you basically, they're gonna tell you where it's located. They're gonna tell you the alarm key or the alarm code, so you can turn off the alarm. And yeah. So then basically, like, you can go test drive it. You can go check it out. And I got pretty lucky, but at first I didn't know I was lucky. And I got myself like a mid-roof. And when I first seen the mid-roof, because like up until now, I always pictured driving like a regular truck, like, or a regular looking truck or whatever. And I seen the picture of the mid-roof, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, this it looks kind of weird. Like, why doesn't it look like all the other trucks? So like, I spoke to the lease lady, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't like that little roof thingy. Like, it doesn't look the same as all the other trucks. It doesn't look as cool. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking at that time. And basically, I asked around. I was like, hey guys, so like, there's this one truck that they told me is available, but like, for some weird reason, like, the roof is like really low and shit, like, and it doesn't look as cool. And my boy Trey, he was like, believe it or not, but mid-roofs are actually better for flatbed due to the fact that, like, they have a lower clearance. So like, when it comes down to bridges and stuff like that, you pretty much don't really got to worry about low bridges ever, unless like your load is pretty high up. But typically your loads are not that high when it comes down to flatbed. And I asked a couple other people, and they all were like, yeah, nah, man, mid-roofs are pretty good for flatbed, to be honest with you. Like, and somebody even said that like mid-roofs are the best for flatbed. So once I heard all of this, I was like, oh, word. And then I called the lady back the same day. When I first spoke to her, I told her I'm gonna call her back tomorrow in case another truck is available. But when I heard everybody saying that mid-roofs is good, I was like, fuck that shit. Like, I'm gonna just lease that one. And I leased it, and I kid you not, I've been driving it for almost a week now, and I haven't had the truck sway left and right due to wind, not one time yet. So I think like mid-roofs are really good when it comes down to like wind and stuff like that. And I called my boy Ron from orientation, my roommate, and I was telling him that I got a mid-roof, and he was like, how'd you fucking get a mid-roof? I'm like, I don't know, like, it was just available. He's like, bro, I literally asked them for a mid-roof numerous times, and they said that like flatbed people can't get mid-roofs. And I was like, word? Are you sure they told you that? He's like, bro, trust me, like, I literally asked them like several times. And they always said, no, you can't get a mid-roof. So apparently, according to my boy Ron, if you're flatbed, you're not supposed to have a mid-roof, even though like according to Dre, mid-roofs are the best for flatbed. So I'm not really sure like where the logic behind all of that is, but yeah, so I pretty much lucked up, got a mid-roof. Loving it so far. And I just feel like I was really blessed. I feel like I've been blessed throughout my whole trucking journey and stuff like that. And yeah, so got me a little mid-roof 2020. I think it's like a 2023 or something like that. And I'm not gonna lie, like driving the 2023 is a lot more comfortable than driving my trainer's truck, which was like a 2017. They got these little alarm feature where if there's a car to the right of you, this thing lights up and it turns yellow, basically letting you know like there's a car next to your truck. So like sometimes, you know, I feel like it comes in the most handy when you're on an on-ramp, right? But the on-ramp is shared. And sometimes motherfuckers like to creep, like they'll see a truck trying to get on the on-ramp to the left of them, and they'll try to sneak past the truck and get in front of the truck. So I feel like that little light that turns yellow, it comes in super handy for situations like that. And if the light is yellow and you turn your turn signal right, it turns red, and it makes like a noise to let you know that like, whoa, you just turned your right turn signal on and there's something to the left of you. So I feel like that's super useful. It does get annoying sometimes when like there isn't a car behind you, but there is something behind you. For example, let's just say like there's like a little, like, let's just say you're at the fuel island or something like that. Just an example. It'll detect the pump to the right of you and it'll turn the light yellow. And if you happen to hit that freaking the right turn signal for whatever reason, it'll go off. And I pretty much just made that example to show you like if there's anything at a certain height next to the right of the truck, it automatically turns yellow, and if you hit the turn signal, it automatically goes off. So that means like a fucking trash can or some shit like that. So it can get a little annoying in those instances, but whenever you're in traffic, I feel like it comes in handy. Oh yeah, another thing too. The truck that I leased is actually it was supposed to be a company truck. And I did not notice until I went to go pick my first load up, and the top speed was 59 miles per hour. And I was like, holy shit. And I pretty much had to call my fleet manager back, and he said sooner or later he's gonna just route me back to the terminal so they can basically have it governed at 65 instead. But overall, like, I really like the truck that I picked, and I feel like I got pretty lucky with the truck that I picked because I hated the wind. Like, I hated how it would rock your truck left and right, and if you're going down like a really steep downgrade and it's super windy, like the wind shaking your truck is super annoying. Like, I couldn't stand it. So I feel pretty blessed to have got the truck that I got. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, once you pretty much pick your truck, then you're gonna go to like the bay closest to the Plaza building, and basically like in that bay, you're gonna go upstairs and you're gonna let them know like, hey, I'm upgrading, I'm Flatbed, and he's basically gonna put together all of the things that you're gonna need to set your truck up. And once you do that, then they are going to basically have you pull into like one of the doors or whatever, one of the bays, and then he's gonna like put all of your equipment right there for you, and you can pretty much load everything up, and you can set your truck up. You know what I'm saying? I was going through the upgrade process for about like 2 weeks, like the whole classes and all that type of stuff. I kind of had a lot going on, like not home time. I had a lot going on, like home life type of stuff. So like I would spend the whole night on the phone, like I would spend the whole night on the phone, and like I would oversleep and miss class. So I kind of took a little bit longer to upgrade. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So they give you all your equipment, you set your truck up, and once you do that, you pretty much go to the Plaza building, get your permit book, make sure all your stickers are up to par. Then you would go to like bay, I don't know if it was like 52 or some shit like that. I forgot which one. And you would get your Qualcomm. They set your Qualcomm up to your truck and stuff like that. And once you get all that stuff, you're pretty much ready to go. You also should go get your bar cut, because you get 2 winch bars. And just in case you get yourself like a, what do you call those trailers? What do you call them trailers with the step deck? So yeah, if you get a step deck, sometimes it's hard to tighten the straps. So you got to go to one of the bays with the saw, and you got to get one of your winch bars cut and stuff like that. That way, you're able to tighten your straps when you have like a step deck. So yeah, let me see, what else am I missing? But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Let me see. So pretty much this right here, this was my first load. It was a spring load. I had to back into this little dock or whatever. It was a little tight, no homo. But I feel like I did pretty good. Like, I didn't do too much backing during training. So like the fact that like I backed into it like first try and it was super tight and shit like that, I felt really good. My confidence was through the roof and stuff like that. I was like, yay, I did it. You know what I'm saying? My trainer used to basically do stuff like that. He used to be the one who did all of the backing and stuff. So, yep, backed into the dock. This load paid about like $1,400. I had to drive it like 500 miles. I pretty much got there the night before, so I pretty much just hung out in the truck. But there was a gas station about like 3-4 minutes away, so I just walked to the gas station, got me a little snack to eat or whatever, and I went to bed. And then they pretty much unloaded me in the morning. But yeah, this load only weighed like 4,000 pounds, so it was really good for like your fuel economy and stuff like that, due to the fact that like it wasn't really too heavy, so your truck didn't really need to burn too much fuel. Plus, I also heard that mid-roofs are also really good on fuel economy, because they're a little bit lighter than the other trucks, so they burn less gasoline, which is great if you're leasing, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so then my second load, that one was a lot heavier. That one was around like 39,000 pounds. And that's the one I had issues tarping, and it was windy as hell. But we got it delivered on time. That one was about like 1,900. And my third load was like, I don't know what the heck them things were, but that one, it was a pain in the ass to tarp it, because I thought the black tarps would have been good enough. I put both black tarps on and stuff. I get off the trailer, I look, and the tarps didn't even cover the full load. So then I basically had to like basically grab the blue tarps, take them out, and then pretty much like re-tarp it with the blue tarps. So that was a pain in the ass. And so far, out of everything that I've experienced while being on my own, tarping has been the biggest pain in the ass. But like, it was such a pain in the butt that I learned a lot those first 3 loads. Like, I feel like when it comes down to tarping, the little experience I had from those loads, and like me wasting so much time by throwing the wrong tarp on the load because I didn't realize like the black one is not gonna be long enough and stuff like that, I won't make those mistakes again. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, if I'm like skeptical about the load, I'm gonna just grab me the blue tarp. Fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's heavier. Yeah, it's more of a hassle, but I'm just grab the blue tarp. And the blue tarp actually flew off. It actually flew off the load. Like, I put it on the load, I opened it up and all that. It was windy as hell. and that bitch blew the fuck off. And I was trying to figure out like how can I get it back up there without necessarily having to re-roll it up, pick it up, and then unroll it at the top of the thing. And I was like, I got some chains, and the chains are a little heavy. So I was like, maybe I could just put the chains in the loop of the tarp, throw the chains over the load, then go on the other side and just pull the tarp up. You know what I'm saying? And now the chain being on the little loops are gonna prevent it from flying away. So that's basically what I had to do to get the blue tarp back on. That shit was like, I wasted so much time doing it. And like all the dry van and all the reefer dudes, they were just sitting there on their phones. You know how dry van and reefer dudes do. And they were just looking at me like, damn, like this nigga, he working mad hard. Like he climbing on top that fucking thing. He got the chains, throwing the chains, grabbing the. They thought they was looking at me like, yo, this nigga's working hard. Like, you feel me? But I got to that delivery early as well. And one of the major things that I learned after delivering this load was you definitely want to do your pre-trip. Remember how I told you that if you learn anything from my video, you want to make sure you get yourself a Flying J rewards card. Another thing that I want you guys to take into heavy consideration, if you're not going to do a pre-trip, do a walk around. You feel what I'm saying? At least walk around and look at what you got going on. Because while I'm driving, I notice whenever I hold the brakes, like my service air would just keep going down to the point where like the low air buzzer and light would come on. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why every time like I'm holding the brakes, it starts coming on? So then I'm like, maybe like I'm thinking about CDL school at this point. And I'm just like, yo, why does that keep happening? So then I'm supposed to be headed towards Atlanta, I think. Either towards or from Atlanta. All I know is it got something to do with Atlanta. And then I see a sign that says like 6% downgrade. And I seen 6% downgrade and I'm like, uh-oh. My brakes is acting real funny. Do I really wanna? I'm like, man, let me just pull over real quick at this little service plaza. I pull up at the service plaza, and I'm like, yo, why my brakes keep doing that? I keep losing air whenever I hold on to the brakes. Whenever I put my foot on the pedal for like a long time, the air just keeps going down. I go look at my airline, and my blue service line fell out, bro. My blue service line fell out. And then, to make it even, to top it all off, after I finish putting it back on, right, I end up in the crazy Atlanta traffic. Not only was it the crazy Atlanta traffic, but this traffic was also like an uphill type of traffic. Meaning, like you gotta hold the brakes and you're going uphill. So like if I did not pull over real fast and check my airlines and do a walk around, I would have been screwed, bro. I would have been screwed in that traffic going up that hill, bro. I'm telling you, I would have been screwed. And that's why I just be feeling like God be blessing me, bro. Like it's like God just be taking danger out of my path. But this gentleman right here, he was mad cool. I believe his name is Devon. And he was super cool. Like he allowed me to record. Like he wasn't tripping or nothing like that. And he actually walked up to me after he got the load off, and he was like, "Yo, bro, like what you got going on and all that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I just be doing YouTube and all that." You feel me? So he asked if I could send him the clips and stuff like that, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you the clip."
Okay, just shout out to my kids, shout out to my girl, shout out to my pops. That's pretty much it, man.
All right, appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Yep.